Hey everybody, it's Mr. Isaacs. So this is going to be a way quicker lesson than the last lesson for math. I'm doing Unit 8, Lesson 2. Side note, good news, I will be getting a new laptop from the school on Wednesday. So everything should be fixed by then. So tomorrow we're still having a Zoom meeting that will be on my wife's laptop instead. But then after that, it'll be back to the normal setup, which will be great. So anyways, Unit 8, Lesson 2, we're really doing the exact same math that we did in Lesson 1. If you remember in the last video, I said that essentially when we're converting metric units, whether it's with meters, liters, or grams, we're doing the same type of math, just with different names. So today it's dealing with liquid volume, which is liters. And this is starting on page 269. And you'll see a chart that looks really similar to the chart in the last lesson. And the only difference is it says liter at the end of everything instead of meter. And besides that difference, it's the exact same thing. So just another example, remembering when we convert to a smaller unit, so like if we're going from liters to milliliters, we're actually multiplying. We should be getting a bigger number, because if there's 5 liters, there's going to be way more milliliters of the same, right? If like 5 liters is what? 5,000 milliliters, right? So we're multiplying. And then the opposite, if we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, we're dividing, because we should have a smaller actual number, right? 300 milliliters, how many liters would that be? Well, remember, there's 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So 300 milliliters isn't even going to be 1 full liter. So it would end up being, we'd be dividing by 1,000. So we'd shift the numbers, right, from 300 to 0.3, 3/10. And if you need a better visual example of the way we're shifting the decimals, I'll repost that extra video that I had for yesterday, because once again, it's the exact same type of math. So I think those examples will work just fine. The only difference is, once again, these are liters instead of meters. And then at the bottom of page 269, it's, once again, very similar to yesterday, where you're just converting them. And remember, when you're going from a large unit to a smaller unit, you should be multiplying the number. And if you're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you should be dividing the number. And it's all about just either adding zeros or moving the decimal, right? It's all just shifting. So that's all of page 269. And then it brings in, once again, some complex word problems on page 270. And these are a little tricky, and some students were even asking me questions about the word problems from the previous lesson. The big thing to remember with these is just if you can't figure out what to do, it's usually a good idea to be converting. So for example, question 13 on 270 says, Morgan's juice glass holds 225 milliliters. If she uses the glass to drink 8 glasses of water every day, how many liters of water does Morgan drink during a week? So there's 2 steps to this. First, we have to turn the milliliters into liters. How do we do that? Remember, if we go from smaller to larger, we're dividing. So 225 milliliters, there's 1,000, right? 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So we would do 225 divided by 1,000. And then when you get that answer, let's see, to drink 8 glasses of water, so you would multiply whatever your answer was by 8. And then you would get the final answer of how many liters of water does Morgan drink during a week. Okay, and that's it. This is a much shorter lesson. Once again, I will have that helpful display for you. This should really help. And this is kind of a nice little visual too, if you want to see this. Let's hold this up. I like this. It's kind of a breakdown there. So you see, if it's a liter going to a deciliter, you divide by 10. A liter going to a hectoliter, you divide by 100, or 10 squared. Kiloliter, 1,000, or 10 to the third power, and then that's all dividing. And then if you're going from a liter to a deciliter, it's times 10. If you're going from a liter to a centimeter, it's times 100. Sorry about that. And if you go from a liter to a millimeter, it's times 1,000, or 10 to the third power, right? So with that, and the charts in the book, and also with the special chart that I will be posting soon, I think this should make sense okay. And if you have any questions, remember, ask me, especially in the Google Hangouts chat. A couple of students had questions, and I was able to answer them very quickly in that and help them out. Okay, so have a great one. Talk to you soon.